Hi, I'm Nancy Jackson, and I've been making jewelry for over a decade. Come along with me as we explore the world of making jewelry. Don't forget to click subscribe and tap the bell. Hello. Well, today I'm going to do a jewelry project. Now this is going to be a simple project, so a beginner can do this project. But the cool thing about it is, even if you're an advanced student and you want something just a little bit different in your, just something to do different from the normal for a chain or anything like that, then certainly you can take this and use it. And it's customizable. You can do so many things with this and use your own creativity to come up with this idea. So we are going to make a necklace with large beads, large pearls. These are Swarovski. And instead of stringing them, we're going to actually create little head pins that are curved, and then we're going to hang them on a chain. This is because I'm doing a beginner project and I want it to be affordable for anyone out there. This is just cheap chain. It's just cheap chain. You can buy it at Fire Mountain Gems, you can buy it at Rio Grande, you can buy it at Halston. If you want genuine sterling silver chain, you can definitely substitute it for this. We're not going to see a lot of this chain though, so for this project, and because I wanted it to keep it simple for beginners, I just used some old cheap chain that I had. So this one is a double ring. It's a flattened. They took round links and linked them together 2 by 2 by 2, and then they flattened them and rolled them out. Now these are very big round chain, but that will make it easier when you're starting out, when you're wanting to do this. Now I've got a little lobster claw clasp right here. That's for me to mark the center, and you'll see why very soon why I've done that. I found this is 18 inches I've cut, and then I found the center and I linked it in that chain. So I'm going to try to show you some tricks and tips today here when we're doing this project. We are going to need some pliers. Really, for this, that's all the tools you'll need. Now I've got 2 pair of flat-nosed pliers. One's a little bit narrower than the other. You can see there, but it doesn't matter. Then I have round-nosed pliers, and you'll see here I have a mark on them. That was for a metal smithing project that I was doing. And we're going to make our own mark today. I may have to wipe this off. The cool thing about Sharpie is that it'll wipe off. It'll stay on metal, and then it'll wipe off when you need it to wipe off. So what we're going to do, now I've got different colors of Swarovski here. Now this is really dark, this is really light. So we could probably lay them out just like that and have a spectrum. And that's what I think that I'm going to do. So we can go from dark to light, or we can go from light to dark. You know, you could actually just intermingle them and just grab a color, and then they would all be interspersed. So since this is your project, you do it however you want to do it. But I think that I'm going to start with the dark, and then I think I'm going to progress to the light. So I'm going to set these 2 colors aside for now, and I'm going to use the darker one. Okay, so what we're going to do here, I'm going to put this in. I'm going to pull it over flush. I'm going to snip it. I'm going to take my pliers. I'm going to roll it toward the pearl. Now, we're going to make several of these, and then what we're going to do is we're going to take our pliers, one on each side of our loop. So I'm going to put one plier here, one plier there, and I'm going to twist that out so that there is an opening in order to place it on the chain. Then I'm going to grab that side of the loop again, exactly where I had it before, and I'm going to pull it back to its starting place. So now I have a pearl. I'm going to do it again, twist it open, put it on my chain, grab that other side again and twist it closed. Now you'll want to double check here and make sure that you put that right back to where that loop is closed, because if there is any slight gap, your chain can go through it. Even if there's just a tiniest little bit of gap, you're going to think, oh, well, that's not big enough for the chain to go through, but it will. It will go through. Okay, so now we have two pearls. I've got a third one here. Once again, I'm going to grab each side. I'm going to twist it out. Now I'm going to put one on this top, because what my goal is for this is to get it really good and full. Whoops. So I've got two on the bottom. And then I'm going to put one on the top here. Just like before. Grab the other side. Oops. And then I'm going to twist it shut. Make sure that it's closed. Make sure that it's closed. Now the goal of this, if you can disregard this lobster claw, the goal is to just completely fill up this chain, and you can make it as thick or as sparse as you want. So I'm going to continue to work. I think I may put two or three on each link. I think I'll alternate. I'll put two at the bottom, one at the top, and then I'll alternate, put two at the top and one at the bottom. And I'm going to work on that, and then I'll get right back to you. Hi everyone. I have been asked over and over again since I started making jewelry over 13 years ago, how did you get started making jewelry? So I thought I would tell you the story. Long time ago, about 14 years ago, I was home on medical leave after having surgery. I worked at a job that just did not make my heart sing. Was home and I was on the couch and I kept praying, God, I just can hardly stand to do this. This doesn't seem like me. I'm going to be diligent and I'm going to do it, and I'm very, very thankful for it. But I just need something that comes from the inside of me and makes my heart sing. I prayed that almost every day while I was out on medical leave. I was out for 6 weeks. I was healing much, much quicker. And near the 4th week, I kept hearing this internal unction, go to Santa Fe. And I would think, I've been to Santa Fe. I love Santa Fe. I'm not supposed to be in Santa Fe. I'm supposed to be at home recuperating. And I would put it aside. Well, I'd pray some more, and then I'd hear, go to Santa Fe. I don't understand why I need to go to Santa Fe. And so this repetitious prayer unction happened for several days. I called my very best friend and I told her what was happening, and she said, well, you better go to Santa Fe. So I loaded stuff up and I went to Santa Fe. I took my journal, I took my camera, because yes, back in those days, we didn't have camera phones that took pictures and video of everything. And I thought, I'm just going to take it easy. I'm going to spend time with the Lord, and I'm going to see if He can reveal something, or desires to reveal. He can, obviously, or if He desires to reveal something to me in this trip. So I loaded it up, my SUV. Like I said, I got my camera and my journal. I got several books on CDs, because back then we didn't have Audible or anything like that. And I took off, and I took a slow trip. I took my time. I enjoyed the journey. And then when I got to Santa Fe, I actually stayed at a small hotel on the outskirts of Santa Fe. It was out to the west, and I can't even remember the name of the town. But I was just out there mostly to enjoy the scenery and how beautiful it is out there. And I was just wanting to spend time with the Lord and just enjoy. So I stayed out there, and so it was not for a couple of days that I actually ventured into the Plaza District, which is where a lot of people always wind up when they go to Santa Fe. At the time, I was a lot thinner, and I loved to shop, and I had a closet full of clothes. I had just bought a brand new outfit, and I needed a necklace. It was a kind of a contemporary Southwest looking outfit, kind of on the Double D Ranch scale of things, and I did not have the perfect necklace to go with it. So I was down there in the plaza, and I went from store to store to store, and if you've ever been down there, you know that if there's one Southwest necklace, there's 1,000. Now, true, many of them are not from the Native Americans. They're mass produced from Pakistan, which that's a whole nother issue that irks me that I won't even talk about here. However, I still kept looking for the perfect necklace for my outfit. Now, you have to understand, as a creative person, I already had that necklace idea in my head. So when I would look at what were in the glass showcases, none of them matched the idea I had in my hand. Until one day. One day I walked, it was probably my 3rd trip to the plaza. So I stayed in Santa Fe roughly a little over a week. So probably my third day, I stumbled across a bead store. Now they didn't just have the glass beads, they had strings and strings and strings of incredibly beautiful turquoise and all other different semi-precious stones. I thought I had fallen into a little bit of heaven. I couldn't leave there. Everything that you could possibly imagine they had. And I kept feeling them and looking at the colors, and I just felt my creative juices just come alive. I began to see beads that I thought I could make into the necklace in my head. So I thought, I can just make the necklace that I want to have. So I started buying beads, and I mean the scales racked up. I spent probably way more on beads than I ever could have if I'd have found the actual necklace. So I filled an entire sack and I checked out. Well, then I didn't have a clue what to do with them. So I went to a Michael's, or I don't think they had a Hobby Lobby then. And I went and I bought a magazine or a book that gave you the basics of how to put it together. I bought a few little bitty pliers, and I bought the wire that you string them with, and the crimps and anything else mechanical wise that I needed to make the necklace. And I took it back to my hotel. Actually, at that time, I was staying at Fort Marcy, which I absolutely love. If you ever go to Santa Fe, check out Fort Marcy. It was like a little apartment, and it had a little fireplace. Not that I needed it that time of year, but it's a very cozy atmosphere. Anyway, I took everything back, I laid it out, I laid my pattern out, and oh my gosh, right before me laid the necklace that I wanted to wear and make. So I worked and I worked and I worked, and it came together. Now, I will admit, I really had trouble with the mechanics. Even though they were obvious to me now, when I would look at the book, I would try to make those crimps do what they were showing me, but they were so itsy bitsy, and I had to fumble with the beads and the necklace and the clasp and try to get it just right to make that crimp work, and I would wind up, honestly, out of frustration, just mashing the whole thing together. So I did wind up with a beautiful necklace. Well, then I got excited. So then I thought, okay, I'm going to make a bracelet for my friend, and I had white, I think I had at Michael's bought some white pearl looking beads and other charms with tons of different little crosses and things. So I had bought all that stuff, and I went back and designed this absolutely beautiful bracelet for my dear friend who said, you should go to Santa Fe. So I made her this gorgeous bracelet, and then I went home. Well, before I actually went home, I went to every bead store I could find in Santa Fe, and I bought so many beads and so many stones. Now, I was a novice, and I didn't know what the thunder I was doing, but I know one thing. When I was in Santa Fe, my creative juices came alive like I've never felt them before. I was driving up in the mountains. I was taking photographs. I was sketching on a sketch pad. I had clothing designs, because years ago I used to sew all my own clothes. So I had clothing designs. I had purse designs. I had, beaded jewelry designs. I drew sketches of the mountains. I cannot tell you, this burst of creativity just came alive inside of me. So I did all of that stuff. I think I was there a week or more. Now, I was only making jewelry probably the last 3 or 4 days of that trip, and I was definitely spending most of my time out in the mountains, out in the desert, out around about, because the nature brought alive those creative juices. I found streams that had summer wildflowers growing up, and I would take pictures of them. That trip, of any trip in my entire life, was, if you had one trip at the top to date, it would be that one, because it made my heart sing. It wasn't just nature, it was being alone with God, letting Him feed into my soul, and He did it so much of the time in nature. And I came alive in that trip as if I hadn't been alive before, but something that my soul was crying out for seemed to spring to life. Then I went home. I was so excited to give my friend her bracelet. As we were standing in her driveway, I gave her the bracelet, I put it on her wrist. I was all excited. It looked so beautiful. And she turned her wrist and she looked at it and she said, "Oh, it's so cute." And she turned her wrist back and the whole thing fell apart. There were beads and charms and everything just falling and going bam, 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 bam down the driveway. And I'm scrambling and I'm getting all the beads together. I'm like, I can fix it, I can fix it, I can fix it. I was so embarrassed. If she hadn't been a long-time best friend, I would have been humiliated. But anyway, so I'm picking everything up and scurrying around, got it all in a pile, and I looked at her and said, "I can fix it, I can fix it." And I did fix it. But there's more to the story on there. And once I have this done, I will put this on a mannequin or I'll put it on me so that you can really see it. So I have this little clasp, but I don't know that I like it. Seems rather small. Let me find another one here. I realized once I got ready to do this project that I didn't have as many clasps as I thought. Now that would be a cute clasp. Well, let's go ahead and just use this larger jump ring clasp. Okay. And then, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these two jump rings and I'm going to open them up. I'm going to lay it there, open up another one. Okay. Actually, let me do these one at a time. So I've got this one. And find the end of my chain. Put that jump ring through both of the chain. And then I'm just going to twist it close. And I'm going to, I don't know if you can hear that, brush those ends back and forth across each other. That is going to work harden the bottom part of the ring. And then when I'm brushing them back and forth across there, I know that they're touching. And then they should just snap, the ends should just snap together. Now the reason I'm putting two jump rings here in this end, it's two reasons. Number one, I want to kind of stay with the double ring theme. But two, since I am not soldering these closed, it's going to provide a sturdier join to put that on there. It's a cute little jump ring. It's got some little engraved heart. Now this is not silver. It's some kind of pewter or something of that nature. So I've got that on that end. Now on this end, I've got these two. I'm going to open them up. Actually, I think I'm just going to put one because it'll just be easier. Once again, I am just rubbing those ends back and forth, twisting them. That one's a little out of shape there. There we go. Nice and tight. Okay, now We've got this cute little lobster clasp and that. Now, the reason, one of the main reasons I had this lobster clasp down here was because I wanted to show you so when I got home, I had other things to do. I had to go back to work, but I wanted to fix my friend's bracelet. So one day I did. I pulled it all back out. I put it all together, but I really was still having trouble with the mechanics of everything. For some weird reason, it just eluded me. No matter how hard I tried, I would put it together, but it was just not the right way. It held together. Like I said, I would mash and poke and there would still be too much play. I've never had so much trouble with anything in my entire life. That should give you guys some comfort, if nothing else. But anyway, I was able to get my friend's bracelet functioning and pretty, and so I gave it back to her. I was relieved to get it back to her because at that point I thought, I can't do this. I'm just not cut out for this. And I put everything back into the sack and I put it aside. But as you know, that's not the end of the story. But we don't have time for that rest of that story today. It'll be in another video, so keep watching. I'll show you what I'm doing. So these are just some store-bought focal pieces. Now this is one that I actually made. And I do not know if this is soldered together or not. No, it's not. This is Argentium silver. I hand sawed and fused. Okay, so I put that jump ring right through that lobster claw. I'm going to find the middle of this. And I'm just going to use this lobster claw to clip this on right there. Now another cool thing about that is if I don't want to wear that on there, I just unclip it. I can wear the beads by themselves. Okay, I've got it clipped on there. Got a new focal piece. Clip it on. And there you have that little focal piece. So this is a great little necklace. It's very classy. I think you could wear this with jeans. I think you could wear this with anything. You could dress it up, dress it down. Again, I like the versatility. If you're a seasoned metalsmith, this would be great to make different pendants with the you know, something similar to this. Set you a stone on there. I didn't have any available that weren't already on necklaces, but you could have different cabochons and then just switch them out. Now, if you did not want this as, if you did not want this so thick and heavy, by all means, you can customize it. It might be pretty if you just went part of the way. Take one color as you get out here, make it clumpy in the middle, and then when you're done, have one, you know, have two and then one, and then leave the rest of this chain. Also, another thing that you could do is you could add smaller beads. As you go out, you could have, these are 16 millimeter. You could go down to say 10 millimeter and then 4 millimeter, and that would have a whole new look as well. So I'm going to take some pictures, and I'd love to hear what you think. Do you have ideas? How would you switch this up? That's a cool thing. How would you change this necklace? Thanks.
Click subscribe and tap the bell. You never know what's coming next.